I won't be before you very long. I informed Pastor Daniels this morning that I brought my Easter speech with me. So I got about 5 minutes of your time and I'll be out of your way this morning. God bless you, Stephen. It's always good to hear him on the organ and other musicians as well. For those of you that have your Bibles with you, won't you join me in the Gospel according to Luke, the 15th chapter, commencing at the 11th verse. Once again, that's Luke 15, the 11th verse. Once you found it, won't you say amen? Amen. And the text records, and he said, a certain man had 2 sons. And the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that falleth to me. And he divided unto them his living. And not many days after, the younger son gathered all together and took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in that land. And he began to be in want. And he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent him into his fields to feed swine. And he would fain have filled his belly with the husk that the swine did eat. And no man gave unto him. And when he came to himself, he said, how many hired servants of my father's have bread enough and to spare, and I perish with hunger. I will arise and go to my father, and will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. Make me as one of thy hired servants. And he arose and came to his father, but when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion, and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him. And the son said unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in thy sight, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. Yeah. But the father said to his servants, Bring forth the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand and shoes on his feet, and bring hither the fatted calf and kill it, and let us eat and be merry. And brothers and sisters, won't you help me read that 24th verse there? For this my son was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. And they began to be merry. Brothers and sisters, I'd like to lift the thought this morning, I'm back. I'm back. All right. I am back. In order for someone to come back somewhere, this language, this verbiage implies that one had to first have been somewhere to begin with. In fact, it's safe to say that on this particular morning, on this particular Sunday, in this setting, it is appropriate for me to say, I am back. For I once lived in Minnesota, but left, but now I am here this morning. Here where the Holy Writ takes place, we find this young man said to his father, Father, give me the portion which falleth unto me. And this gives me great pause in the text, because the young man didn't say, Father, allow me to work for what I might have. Father, may I earn what I might have. But he didn't even say, Father, may I have. But this young man said to his father, Father, give me. And so often in life, in today's society, we find that our children have developed this same give me attitude. We find that they come to us saying, give me some money, give me a cell phone, give me some freedom, give me the opportunity to do whatever it is that I want to do, but yet we find they won't even make up the bed, they won't take out the trash, they won't clean the dishes. They have developed a give me attitude. And in essence, this young man looked at and viewed his inheritance as a parental obligation that his father owed him. And brothers and sisters, I want to tell you this morning that it is very dangerous to look at the gifts of God as mere obligations that God has to do for us. What do you mean, brother preacher? I mean that it is dangerous to assume that just because we wake up in the morning that God should clothe us in our right mind. That just because we wake up in the morning that God should allow us to live in comfort. That just because we woke up this morning everything should be as we desire, as we want, simply because God woke us up this morning. And it's dangerous to develop a give me attitude. A give me attitude, there's a sense of pride behind give me. There's a sense of self-entitlement behind give me. There's no sense of hard work. There's no value in give me. And we know how it is when someone has given us something as opposed to when we work for it. I tell people all the time, my first car was a convertible Mustang GT. And it was given to me. And I drove that car until the wheels fell off of it, because I didn't understand the value. Oh, but brothers and sisters, when I purchased my first vehicle of my own, it may not have been a Bentley, but I drove it just like it was a Phantom. I found myself easing over the railroad tracks. I found myself looking both ways to make sure that nobody hit me, because I had worked for that car. I had earned that car. It was mine and I wanted to take care of it. And a person with a give me attitude only asks God, only asks people for things they can utilize now. And I've discovered that they don't understand God's relation as it correlates to time. Because you see, brothers and sisters, God does not exist within time because God created time. If you don't believe it, you can go to Genesis 1, 4, and 5. And God saw the light, and that was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. It is here in Genesis 1, 4, and 5 that God created time. However, if you look at Genesis 1 and 1, God created heaven and the earth. God created the heaven and the earth before God created time. If God holds heaven and earth in his palm and time exists within earth, then God holds time in the palm of his hand. And all I'm trying to tell you is a person with the give me attitude wants what they want on their time because they cannot appreciate God's timing in their life. And here we find this young man asked his father for money because he wanted to go out and live it up, no doubt. Won't you join me on a brief journey of envisionment? Can't you see this young man had got all this money and had went downtown to Minneapolis and probably got him a condo on the 25th floor of some building and is on First Avenue every week at, let's see, what's some of these, Envy. That's one of the clubs over there. At Envy every weekend, and people probably look forward to this young man coming because he had money. He was the man, probably had him a posse with Poo Poo and Bookie and all of them. And rode with him, probably went and bought him a necklace with some painted wood and put some 22s on his chariot. This man wanted to bling bling. And point number one is very simple. Don't develop the give me attitude. And I wonder, Pastor Daniels, why would this young man desire to leave home if he had all of that there for him? And my study habits cause me to always question the text. I can't run across a question in the Bible and not research and discover the answer to it. And God revealed to me through study that the reason this young man left home is because he could not stand to live under the provision. He could not stand to live under the authority and the government of his father. And I'll give you a great example of this. When Pastor and Mrs. Daniels came to Atlanta and preached for a gentleman in Duluth, his sister, Linda, I believe it was, invited us to her home. Linda had prepared this beautiful feast. There were barbecued ribs, grilled chicken, fried chicken, baked chicken, potato salad, baked beans, coleslaw, and I was fortunate enough to be about number 2 or 3 in line, and I wasn't far behind Pastor Daniels. He had piled his plate with everything that I had just named times 2. And so when it came time for something to drink, his sister said, Pastor, a big bro, I can't remember what she called him, but she said, what will you have to drink? There's Coke, there's water, there's tea, there's lemonade, there's strawberry soda. And I believe Pastor Daniel said, Linda, baby, give me a Coke. But Sister Daniels was in the corner of the room. And Sister Daniels said, no, give him some water. And because Pastor Daniels did not want to listen to who I discovered was the boss, Pastor Daniels left the kitchen and went into the dining room. And when he went into the dining room, his sister came in and said, give me some Coke. Go get me some Coke, Linda. And Linda would not give him Coke because the boss had already spoken. And so often in the church, we find that we leave the church, that we leave the will of God, that we leave God's destiny for us simply because we do not want to follow the basic instructions before leaving earth.